What's up, fam? It's your girl. Got a little bit of a headache going on, but we shall push through, see what messages come through for the collective. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Praying for Ashe. Divine forces of unconditional love, light, peace, wealth, health, prosperity, and everything good, lovely, and wonderful. What does the collective need to know for our highest good at this time? Please bring clear and accurate messages. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Okay. So we have the letters G, Q, and W. George, Quincy, Winston. Names that begin with those letters, first, last, or middle, could be significant. Okay. Wow. Okay, so the first card out says that you connected with this person, place, or thing at a time when it was needed, but you have now ascended that purpose, and it is unwise to stay any longer. It's just plain and clear. It was only meant for a season. So there are some situations that was only meant for a season that collective you may be trying to draw out, and it's time to release and to let it go. Okay, you've messed your energy off of potential that will never come true. Spirit is letting you know now what you want to happen is not going to happen. No matter how convincing a person may be, no matter how much you can try to convince yourself. Again, you have ascended and evolved past the situation. Even this card says that you're out of their league, but you keep wanting to play small so that you can stay around these people or this person, and you're going to be just surviving off breadcrumbs compared to the whole meal your true soul family can provide you, the nourishment, the fulfillment. Bottom of the deck says you're going through a rebirth. It's painful yet necessary. Just like in the previous read, it says death is a necessary transition, right? And death is painful. So it's the same energy kind of being recycled through this reading. Says no longer repeating cycles. You need to stop repeating this cycle of staying in situations longer than is needed. You need to learn the lesson, reflect, and purge. Learning, reflect, purging. Right? And the only reason why you stay is because you don't feel like you can do better. You've allowed the words of this person, the projections, maybe energetic projections. They don't have to say it directly to you. It's through their actions. You know, whether they are, you know, indulging in a third party situation, or, you know, out of sight, out of mind. You feel like you are repeating those sentiments to yourself, and you need to tap into the segment energy so that you can alchemize it. You know, there's spiritual grounding needed, right? So you might need to do a right, burn, and release. We have right decisions. So Spirit is saying follow your intuition. Whatever you decide to do will be the right decision. The next card that came out in the previous read is blocked. So the right decision is to block this person because their head is so far up their ass. They are ego led. There's no real true getting through to this person is what it is feeling like. The energy is saying. Okay, you connected at a time when it was needed, whether it was for you or this person, right? You may have came at a time when this person really needed you. You boosted up their confidence at a time where it was possibly in the pits. Now they think they have outgrown you because they're, you know, they rich because they have your attention. You have very powerful energy. But this person feels as though this confidence that they has is of their own doing. But that's not entirely the case. So you're undergoing a mental transformation. A rebirth, which is a major transformation, transition. You're no longer repeating those cycles. You've learned, you reflect, and now you're purging. That's why you need to make sure that you kind of keep your energy to yourself. Anybody or, you know, place or thing that you may have put on a pedestal, you're realizing that that's not where they deserve to be. Okay. Your true soul family awaits you. But you gotta get off the hamster wheel. Wow, this is beautiful. Bottom of the deck is the quantum code to invite communication with your higher self. The quantum code is 85 space 31 space 901. So, wow. That's all you really need to focus on right now is communication with your higher self, with your spirit team. I've been saying that for a while, but just in case you forgot, some people have, you know, once they heard it, they forgot, you know, so just a reminder, like, all of this extracurricular stuff, whether it has to do with a lover, friend, or family member, or whatever, like, all of that is really secondary. It's not even secondary. You need to be focusing on your relationship with your higher self, your Ori, mind and heart alignment, your divine forces. Ironically, I said that little prayer before, and I hadn't, before the read, and I hadn't said that, I can't tell you in how long, right? But that just goes to show you that your spirit team says, talk to us, communicate with us. And so that's the perfect card for to be at the bottom of the deck, because that's exactly who you're going to need, your spirit team and your higher self, to go through this rebirth, you know. And again, like I said, I'm having a headache. I know this is part of ascension symptoms as my body is transforming into a more aligned state, you know. Um, and it's uncomfortable. The old me is dying away and dying off. All right, so let's get clarifiers. Clarifying connected at a time when it was needed, but you've now ascended and it's unwise to stay any longer. We have spiritual commitment. Staying any longer will interrupt or distract, delay you from your spiritual commitment. And it's time for you to get back on track with your intuition with the High Priestess in reverse. But also people see you as someone that is very much so a spiritual person. They see you as the high priestess, but you're not walking in that energy, which is why I feel it's in reverse. You don't really truly trust your higher self. You're not really 100% comfortable in that energy, perhaps just yet. Even though you are a spiritual person, it's still something that you need to work on and to grow deeper in. And again, this is what you need to focus on versus any external energy. So, and the external energy again could be projections from, you know, the religious people in your life, projections from lovers that have you bullying yourself. You know what I'm saying? They're projecting their insecurities onto you, trying to keep you low so that they can keep their foot on your neck. And as an empath, some of that energy tends to may seep in and to penetrate, but it's time to go into stillness so that you can eradicate those negative implants and hooks that may have been able to land. You've got to go in and to purge that out. You know, once this, now that we've learned and are aware of it, it's time to do the work, the spiritual work. Tap into our spiritual tools. Okay, the quantum code says to lift resentment and to exchange it with vibration of peace. And we talked about alchemy as well, but this is a really key card because it says connected at a time when it was needed. And you know, you have ascended and it's unwise to stay any longer. You've already stayed too long, and there has been some resentment built up from that expiration date until now. You've gathered a lot of resentment for self, for this person, just in general. But you don't have anyone to blame but self for ignoring what was right in front of you, even from the onset, perhaps, of this relationship. Okay, so clarifying, you've enmeshed your energy off of potential. We have learning to nurture, right? And then the Page of Cups, you know, it's a very immature love. You were likely only brought into this person's life to help them grow spiritually. And per usual, the plot was lost. The plot was lost, and things went left. All right. And I feel like that's because this person refused to grow. They refused to ascend. You were sent into their life to help them evolve. And it was only for a season. Though you probably fell for some love bombing that made you feel like, oh, no, I want this for a lifetime. It wasn't meant for a lifetime. And it's been you kind of fell into the entrapment. Like, you got entrapment there. You fell into an entrapment, and it's been really tough for you to get out of it. You know, because you began to believe you allowed this person to destiny swap. In a way, you let your guard down, and there was a bit of a destiny swap in regards to confidence. You know, there was a blockage to your root chakra, this chronic root chakra blockage, and inability to ground to Gaia. You know, but I feel like that's more of the root chakra, which has to deal with security, confidence within self, being grounded in oneself. You lost that ability, you know, because of a swap that happened. You let your guard down and fell for the okie doke, and it knocked you off of your path for a little minute, but you're finding your way back. Again, you're going through a rebirth. It's painful, but very necessary. Right? So again, with the destiny swap, you began to pick up this person's way of doing things. You know, it says this card speaks about emotions being turned off. You know, losing the ability to procreate, or even the want to procreate. And losing the ability of understanding how to nurture. It says when they began, the Zetas again, the Zeta Reticuli, when they started procreating again, they forgot how to nurture. At one point they turned off their emotions, lost the ability to procreate, and then once they started procreating again, they lost the ability to nurture because they turned off their emotions. So I feel like this is all the other person's energy, but they somehow allowed you to, you know, tricked you into taking on that mentality, which is why you're needing a mental lobotomy, if that's even the right question. But remember, we have mental transformation here on the bottom of the deck. And you probably feel for this because it says assisting without interference, but you interfered. And so this is, you know, you interfered while you were trying to show them the way. This is all you were supposed to do. But since you know, interfered instead of, you know, doing your job as in assisting without interference, then this is the karma that you may have had to deal with. This painful, having to undergo a painful rebirth, having to undergo a painful releasing because you stayed longer than you were supposed to. Right? And this is a page, love, that you have convinced yourself is a king love, but it's not. It says nurture yourself without guilt. Cutting off your emotions will always backfire. And this is, you know, what people wanted you to do. They wanted you to grow bitter, not better, but you were determined not to do that, and this is why you were climbing your way out of that bucket. Right? It's time for you to see your own nurturing as important. Because you are a leader. And your energy wants to expand. I just cut to the card that you're now available to carry more light, love, and patience than ever. You are a leader. You are a way shower. You know, now that you've been through this situation with this person, you have grown. You have evolved. You have been able to exchange the resentment with the vibration of peace. And with you overcoming all of this, going through that rebirth, you are now capable of carrying. You are capable, and you do. You carry more light, love, and patience. That's why, per the last read, it's like, it doesn't matter how egregious their actions are. The fact that you're able to climb out of this situation and see the light at the end of the tunnel shows your spiritual commitment, and how spirit has your back, and they truly do, and how much you've grown. Like, you can see their egregious actions, but also know that you're protected. Even though it's painful going through the situation, you are protected and you are covered. And it's teaching you to, again, trust your intuition more, and to invite more communication in from your higher self, because who knows, that could have saved you. But you were distracted. Alright, so we're clarifying soul family now. So there's some things coming to light. Your ancestors are bringing some things to light. This angel of the night. The angel of the night is coming in to illuminate what you do not see. Perhaps about soul family, or people you see as soul family. We have unfinished business coming out here. And I feel like the unfinished business card, well, I feel like, as I read the first sentence on this, it says teaching self-acceptance, right? And so that makes me think of accepting what's unfinished. You know, you may feel like there's unfinished business with this person, and that's part of the reason why you don't want to let go. And the unfinished business is the potential. But you can't sit around and wait for them to fully bake. Or, I mean, and this could be vice versa. Maybe you're projecting all of this onto the other person, but maybe it's the other way around. Where I don't think so. Really. But it says the lesson is you are complete in every moment. You feel like there's unfinished business here, but there's not. Spirit is illuminating to you that there is no unfinished business. There's nothing else for you to hold the fuck on to. It says if supposed to do something, then it would be done. It would have been done. If it was supposed to happen, it would have happened. So stop with the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Be at peace and releasing the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Lift that resentment. There's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. You're creating, your imagination is creating things for you to stay stuck, and that's possibly part of a spell, that was put onto you. Perhaps with the High Priestess in reverse. Hey, that person probably could have called in some energy, or they may be, a spiritual person in their own right, except that they operate from an egotistical center versus a heart-centered space, right? So they use their gifts in a way that and the only reason I'm pausing is because, again, polarized thought, good, bad, trying to label things in that way. I feel like we've grown beyond it. We've grown beyond that. And it may just simply be that you want to be equally yoked with someone. And they use their gifts in a way that is immature, right? Because they're not in tune with their emotions. And we're not saying that that's good or bad, it's just where they are. And we know that everything is part of creation. It's part of creation. And you wanted to help them to channel their energy in a better way. They chose not to learn that way. And now it's time for you to just connect with your true soul family. Okay, so we have another quantum code card here as a clarifier, and it says for opening the heart chakra when it is closed. Good for low self-esteem. Wow. Lack of self-love. Poor self-acceptance. And it's so ironic that it comes out with this card, unfinished business, that says it teaches self-acceptance, right? So this is about, keeping your heart open. Everything we've kind of talked about with the root chakra and, regaining our self-esteem. Not allowing the projections to continue to stop, to not believe the projections, because that is not us. Going through a rebirth into our own energy and coming out of what has been projected onto us. But it's good for low self-esteem, lack of self-love, poor self-acceptance, and deep injuries on a soul level. We've gotten plenty of cards that's talking about healing on a soul, healing your soul as well. So it says it will not resolve karmic imbalance, which you may be going through that with, this person that was supposed to be a part of the soul family, but didn't answer the call. You came along as a spirit guide to help them along, with this, to come into the calling on their life, the spiritual commitment, but they rejected you. They're rejecting it, and that's okay. But it's really hard for you as an empath to walk away. But one step at a time. This is a karmic situation. You didn't leave when you were supposed to, so now those hooks are a little bit harder to get out. And it's really painful to try to unhook, get those hooks out of you. You see the hooks now. You didn't know that there were hooks in you before, but now you are aware, and it's really tough to get those hooks out. Upon you trying to get the hooks out, you're gonna rip some skin. That's just the way hooks are designed. But you will heal. It's gonna be painful, but you will heal. But it says it will not resolve karmic imbalance, but it supports the healing process, right? It supports the healing process greatly, is what it says, okay? And you're going to need that as you pull that hook out and it tears other skin. It says use with permission from your higher self or inner guidance. And we just got the card to invite more communication. That's the bottom of the deck card. Invite more communication from our higher self. I feel like we've got permission since that is there, but we can, just meditate on that energy. But use with permission from your higher self or inner guidance, and also with permission on a soul level if used to help heal another. So if you want to use this to help heal someone else, make sure you get permission on a soul level. Get soul level permission. So maybe you want to consult your any form of divination that you may use. You may want to consult that before, if you're going to use this with intentions for someone other than yourself. You need to call that person, reach out to them, and ask for their permission. All right. I don't really think there's anything else that just needed specific clarification. I was going to end, but a card did fall out, so we're going to just go ahead and lay out a few more cards and then we'll end. But we got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, a Judgment card in the upright, and then the Two of Swords in the reverse. All right. This judgment that has happened does have you off balance. Ungrounded, and just like it was some cards saying, unable to connect, an inability to ground with Gaia, right? So this projection, this relationship may have had you abandoning your connection with nature. You may have used to go connect with nature on a regular basis, and this situationship person, place, or thing may have distracted you for a certain amount of time, and you hadn't really been grounding your energy. With the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, you've been ungrounded, but you can rectify that with this quantum code. It is 10 space 010 space 5856. So that's to help you to ground yourself in this judgment and to stop ignoring what's right in front of you. This is a generational curse. That you are fighting against in the area of love, with the Two of Cups coming out. You know, love is blind, but it's time for you to take those blinders off, because it's interfering with you. It's delaying your destiny in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And in this delay, it's allowing other people to destiny swap and to utilize that energy that you should be utilizing for yourself. So it's necessary to be in possibly to be in a hermit energy at this time, right? So that you can come out of this trapped energy. It's the Eight of Swords in reverse, so that you can free yourself, right? Six of Cups in reverse. There's no reconciliation that needs to happen. Wow. We go with the no reconciliation, because trying to reconcile will stall your destiny. Look at this, the Tower. It has to burn down. The Tower, it's just completely destroyed. There's no going back, right? And that's what Spirit is saying. You do not need to go back to things the way they once were. Okay? You need to completely block out those emotions and recompartmentalize perhaps the relationship, or completely let go of the relationship. That's devil energy. It's toxic. third party situations, obsessions, addictions, and just the whole thing is just unbalanced. It's imbalanced. Self-love is what you need to tap into. And then we got the King of Pentacles in the upright, so that you can regain your grounding, to regain your footing. The hard part is over. The hard part is truly over. You are again undergoing a mental transformation, and you got this. It's a little scary, yes, but and painful. And it may be so painful, you like, man, I just let me go back. Let me just go back to the situation. But no, you gotta stay the course. You need to set up those healthy boundaries, and you need to enforce those boundaries. There's no going back. All right. So, quantum code for opening the heart chakra is 88 space 76 space 543. Not sure if I gave the life resentment, and exchange it with the vibration of peace, to exchange exchange resentment with the vibration of peace. That quantum code is 22 space 21 space 568. Alright, so I think I gave all of the quantum codes. This little headache is nagging me. It's a tension headache. But I'll go ahead and wrap things up. Hope that helped in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Love you all. And until next time.